new major attacks happen here. I'll give you the details on this that could be or are leading to World War III. The newest details on that. Also, the FBI gives us the details on a critical problem here in the United States that we have learned about and how they're trying to stop this that you need to know about here. I'll give you the details on that. Also, a $95 billion bill advances in the House of Representatives and will be voted on here tomorrow. And will it ultimately pass? It passed to move forward here. This is very big news. I'll give you the details on all of this here in this video. Let's jump right in. Thank you so much for liking these videos. Here we go. Okay, things are escalating in the Middle East very quickly and in a very serious way. Israel carries out limited new strikes against Iran. And this comes after Iran had hit back at Israel, largely struck down. But now Israel is striking back, and a lot of people are fearing this is going to create a larger war. Check this out. Iran threatens to target Israeli nuclear facilities. Nuclear facilities, which would create potential nuclear meltdowns and a much larger problem. Middle East on precipice of a bigger war, potentially starting, well, world wars, right? Iran warns it may change nuclear weapons stance in face of Israel. U.S. announces new sanctions on Iran. Look at this. The U.S. announced a fresh set of sanctions on Iran targeting the production of unmanned aerial vehicles Thursday, as the capital, Tehran, warned Israel it would review its official stance on nuclear weapons if its atomic facilities were attacked. When we start to get into nuclear weapons and nuclear facilities, things get very, very tense. The latest wave of actions Thursday by the United States and Iran come on the heels of Tehran's missile and drone attacks on Israel last weekend. And the more attacks we see back and forth, the greater and greater risk of a major war breaks out.
But first to Jeff Paul. He's live on the ground in Tel Aviv. Jeff, any word from Israel's war cabinet on this?
Yeah, well, we are expecting them to meet today if they haven't already. Obviously, the topic of discussion would be the strike on Iran. But it is important to point out that so far on the record, there have been no comments made by anyone within the Israeli government or within the Israeli military. And that really makes sense because when it comes to these very targeted missions, it's very rare for the Israeli government or the Israeli military to go on the record and talk about them or confirm them. But the strike alone does send a message, and namely sends the message to Iran that Israel can hit within its borders pretty much anytime it wants, anywhere it wants. Now, in terms of the specifics of this targeted strike, it's roughly 200 miles away from the capital city of Tehran in the region of Isfahan, and it's also near the Natanz nuclear facility. The site wasn't hit, but the strike appeared to target a nearby military base. Iranian state media so far has mostly downplayed the strike. They've reported there were explosions, and those explosions were from the Iranian air defense system responding to 3 drones. Those are their words, but made no mention of a source of the attack. An Iranian official has also reportedly told Reuters that it has no plans to strike back immediately. But listen to what Iran's foreign minister had to say when he was asked about Israel during an interview just a few hours before that Israeli strike in Iran.
What will our maximum response be? I can only say that it will be carried out at a maximum level, and it will be regretful for them. The details have been planned by the armed forces of my country.
Now, while we haven't heard much from Israel today, a little while ago, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu posted this on social media. It's kind of hard to see there with the graphics covering it, but that's a picture of Benjamin Netanyahu sitting at his desk. Right below his hand, there are some documents right there that are blurred out, and he titled it basically with a very cryptic message, Shabbat Shalom.
So, as a larger war brews in the Middle East, remember, we're seeing a major thing here. And the U.S. is involved in both major wars, Ukraine, Russia, and Iran, Hamas, and Gaza-Israel war. In fact, just today, House of Representatives voted on and passed moving forward towards the ultimate vote, which will potentially be tomorrow. Speaker Johnson's Ukraine package clears hurdle with Democratic help. Would be $95 billion. Proposal now heads for final vote Saturday. The House voted 316 yeses to 94 noes to advance House Speaker Mike Johnson's $95 billion foreign aid and weapons package Friday, with Democrats backing Republican leaders' efforts to set a final passage this weekend over the objections of at least some Republican colleagues. The successful passage of the rule marks a major step forward for the measure seen as critical to helping Ukraine withstand Russia's invasion and help rearm Israel as well in its recent hostilities with Iran. Johnson has pushed the package through the narrowly divided chamber, even as a small number of dissident Republicans, skeptical of further Ukraine aid and upset over a lack of U.S. border provisions within the deal, have called on him to resign as a speaker. Also in this bill is TikTok rule that if the company is not sold to a U.S.-owned company, that it will be banned in the United States within that package as well. So if it passes in the House, it then goes to the Senate. We'll need 60 votes as well. So I will keep you up to date here on this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Also, FBI Chief Director Christopher Wray says that Chinese hackers have infiltrated critical U.S. infrastructure. Remember, that China is direct allies with Russia and Iran and North Korea. So, new information saying the Volt Typhoon hacking campaign is, quote, waiting for just the right moment to deal a devastating blow. Chinese government-linked hackers have burrowed into U.S. critical infrastructure and are waiting for just the right moment to deal a devastating blow, the director of the FBI, Christopher Wray, has warned. An ongoing Chinese hacking campaign known as Volt Typhoon has successfully gained access to numerous American companies in telecommunications, energy, water, and other critical sectors, with 23 pipeline operators targeted. Wray said in a speech at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee on Thursday, China is developing, quote, the ability to physically wreak havoc on our critical infrastructure at a time of its choosing. Wray said at the 2024 Vanderbilt Summit on Modern Conflict and Emerging Threats. He adds, quote, its plan is to land low blows against civilian infrastructure and to try to induce panic. He said it was difficult to determine the intent of its cyber pre-positioning, which was aligned with China's broader intent to deter the U.S. from defending Taiwan. Yikes. So I will keep you up to date here on all this and everything happening here in our country and around the world on a daily basis. So if you haven't yet, click the subscribe button down below and the bell icon. New videos come out here every day at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Of course, it's completely free. Also, thanks so much for liking and share these videos with anybody that needs to hear this information. Click here to see the Fed's massive updates for millions of Americans. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.